Hi, this is Charles from Final Gravity, and this is my playlist for November 3rd to November 9th, 2025. First up is Roa's Ark with their self-titled album from 2025. Roa's Ark is two-thirds of the Steve Morse Band, meaning bass player Dave LaRue and drummer Van Romain are joined by Carl Roa, an excellent guitarist who unfortunately is not as well known as he ought to be. The record has plenty of Steve Morse's lyricism in the songwriting, and even has a little Highland vibe at one point. The best track on here is Calling All Monsters, which was originally recorded for Carl's 2007 solo album, but is re-recorded here, and it's just a barnstormer. It's a great song, great playing, fun all around. Eternity and the Dawn are two more songs that have Steve Morse Band vibes. Voyage of No Return is just as lively as Calling All Monsters and is also a great track. The final track, Memento Mori, does have vocals in it, and it does kind of end the album on, for me, a bad note. I would have preferred if there had been an instrumental finish to the album. Next up is The Contortionist with their 2014 album, Language. The Contortionist evolved quickly from an intense, abrasive, progressive metal djent band to this sophisticated suite of songs on this concept album that have recurring musical and lyrical motifs about the oneness of all existence. Heady stuff to be sure, but the music matches it. New vocalist on this album, Michael Lassard, has a honey-sweet voice, but he still has a raspy scream when he wants to employ it. Playing is restrained in comparison to their earlier releases, but they can certainly kick it up a notch when they want to. Reminded me a bit of Cynic, in the same way that they evolved from a very heavy technical band to a melodic, sort of trippy cosmic thing. It is a monumental release in the progressive metal subgenre, and if you have not heard it, you absolutely must. Next album is Pelican, the Cliff EP from 2015. Pelican, of course, known primarily as a vocal-free post-rock and post-metal band. There are 4 versions of the title track. There's a vocal version, which I guess is the official one. There are 2 remixes, a live version, and an instrumental called The Wait that seems to have pulled its title from the lyrics of the song The Cliff. Is it a case of making a mountain out of a molehill? Well, more like a mountain out of a large knoll. It's a good song, but really this is a lot of to do over one tune. It's a good tune, but I'm not sure I understand what the thinking was behind this. The next album I listened to this week was Protest the Hero, Pacific Myth from 2016. Protest the Hero deliver intense progressive metal mathcore. It eschews traditional song structure, challenges the concept of listenability at times. Each track will be hard to listen to and seemingly chaotic, although clearly it's under control. And then suddenly melodic sections will appear like rays of sun bursting through thunderclouds. There's virtuosic playing both individually and as a unit. The songs are all about something. I can't quite tell what it is, but the final song, Caravan, seems to be sort of a meta commentary on the whole art of music, storytelling, and being in a band. It's a really intense record, and it requires attention, and it is not easy to listen to. But I really enjoy the challenge, and I think they're a great band. Next up, I listened to Howling Giant's Crucible and Ruin from this year, 2025. I've talked about it last week. It is the best yet from this genre-bending stoner prog band with catchy melodies. Highly recommended. Psychonaut, Worldmaker, which I also listened to last week and the week before. I called it dense, genre-defying psychedelic space prog goth post-alt metal. So marinate in that for a minute. At this point, it is my album of the year. Highly recommended. Next up is We Lost the Sea, a single flower from 2025. We Lost the Sea is an Australian post-rock and post-metal outfit. They use standard rock instrumentation with no vocals. They focus on feel and texture over structure and individual virtuosity. They produce hypnotic, cinematic, evocative soundscapes. There's a slow evolution on tracks without typical song structures. For instance, the first track, If They Had Hearts, is nearly 9 minutes long. It starts with unaccompanied guitar playing with a simple riff, repeated a few times for 2 minutes before other instruments join in. The next track, A Dance with Death, is somewhere between Clint Mansell and John Carpenter in feel. And again, gradually builds, gradually takes you somewhere. The final track is called Blood Will Have Blood. It is over 27 minutes long. It does take a long time to build, but it takes you on an epic musical journey. If this sounds like something that you couldn't handle, 27 minutes of one long, slowly developing tune, then this band is absolutely not for you. The final album this week was Testament's brand new release from 2025, Bellum. The opening track is absolutely inhuman. It's called For the Love of Pain, and new drummer Chris Dovas is an absolute machine. Chuck Billy is bellowing as usual and has witch screams sometimes layered in over his shouting. The song is a lot like sticking your head in a blast furnace. It just will take your skin right off. The next track is called Infanticide AI. It starts with a deceptively, almost Megadeth type of intro, and then you get blast beats, and eventually it settles into a good old-fashioned thrash feel that Testament knows how to do in their sleep. That old-fashioned thrash vibe follows into a song called Shadow People, which sounds like Old Testament. There's a song called Meant to Be, which is a ballad that reminded me a little bit of Metallica. High Noon could be a classic Anthrax song if Joey Belladonna had been singing on it. Room 177 is very reminiscent of Iron Maiden's Total Eclipse, that B-side from Number of the Beast. There are more Maiden twin guitar harmonies and a chorus in a song called Havana Syndrome. This is a pretty broad palette of colors and textures that Testament are drawing from, and it is not at all a band resting on their laurels and just churning out stuff that they know fans will buy. They almost feel like they still have something to prove and are pushing as hard as they can to continue to broaden their sound. You got to respect that from a band that's been around over 30 years. And that is what I listened to this week. I'll see y'all next week.
The owls are not what they seem.